options are somewhat limited. We ended up on the right by North Avenue, right by the 30 bus, 15 bus, office downtown. Pretty logical. If I had a car, I'd probably make the same choice. But part of transit is having the flexibility to make those options in Milwaukee because constrain those options. As with everyone on this panel, they're probably pretty big supporters of improving our investments in infrastructure in the state. And I know a lot of you are. And I think that really requires to get to that point, requires a sense of vision that I'm not sure we do a good job selling to everyone. And so I'd encourage you really to read the Biz Times piece. It has a great piece at the start that kind of shows you how a lot of the transit pieces could work together, both the streetcar, high-speed rail, and then I think the key backbone to the system is Milwaukee County transit system, similar to systems we're seeing in Kenosha, and getting funding for those in place. And so that leads us to the RTA, which today, I don't know how many people are familiar with like the funding options, or how many people aren't familiar with how our transit system is funded. Do we need to talk about that at all? Okay, so we use property tax to fund our transit system, and that's paid by people that live here, obviously, that own property or have an office here. And that's kind of actually unusual. We're one of the last areas in the country to do that. We're really like the last holdout of the major city, other than Indianapolis, that is still doing property tax. Is the key sole component. And so every other major area in the country has kind of dealt with this issue at one point in time, come to this conclusion of we need to do something. They've arrived at payroll taxes, all kinds of other weird funding mechanisms using parking taxes. In Milwaukee, we arrived at kind of the sales tax is going to be both the politically possible way to go and kind of the desirable way to go. And what that allows to is instead of putting the transit system funding on the backs of all the taxpayers, it allows us to make money off Miller Park when people come in from Stevens Point and fund the transit system that supports the rest of the state. So the RTA is really about getting a solid funding system in place, solid funding level, really trying to stop the abuse of the property taxpayers, quit going to the same well all the time, kind of spread and balance the tax system up, which Wisconsin is a big problem. And so the RTA would link those things together, remove the property tax funding component, and it'll make things like the KRM possible, which will use a rental car tax systems right now. Which isn't a perfect solution, but it is a solution. And I think at this point, one of the things with having a sense of vision about how all this works is there's a certain point where you need to put aside the fact that you think Milwaukee should have light rail, you think high-speed rail should have 220 miles per hour, you think the streetcar proposal that the city is proposing should make the entire way to UWM. There's a time when you need to realize that to get something done, we need to get something in the ground, something in the law. And so I think our RTA is at a point right now where if people make a push to call their legislators, we have a hearing on March 11th, you can really make a push to get our transit funding system right, get us back on pace with how everyone else in the nation is going, and kind of shore up our system and go back to where we were in 1999, before our fares had climbed 50% and our service